Welcome everyone to Don't Worry, Retire Happy. I'm Adam Freeland, Managing Principal here at Hartford Financial Group, and we are so happy that you have come to join us. One of the things we want to tell you is, don't worry. One of the things, you're not alone. Virtually everyone worries about retirement. You think that you might be alone, but you're not. Our goal at Hartford Financial Group is to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident in your retirement. When you don't have to worry about money, you can really focus on what's essential. What we found, the things that most people really are meaningful to people are family and friends and the relationships they have, the experiences, and a life of meaning and purpose. So during this course, we're going to go through the 7 steps to retirement security. Number 1, have a plan for retirement. Number 2, maximize Social Security benefits. Number 3, consider a hybrid retirement. If you don't know what that is, we'll talk a little bit about that. Protect your savings from inflation, step number 4. Number 5, secure guaranteed retirement income. Number 6, plan for long-term care medical costs. And then finally, step 7, work with a holistic advisor. Step number 1, have a plan. There's a famous quote, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. We feel very strongly in a holistic planning process, which encompasses the 5 pillars of financial planning. Then the 5 pillars are retirement income planning, investment management, tax management, insurances, and estate planning. We look at our goal, or our role is to be a guide for our clients. They're the hero and heroine of their story, and they have to have a game plan. If you were traveling to Florida, you would need to know the general direction that you're going to be taking and the roads that you're going to travel. It's very similar to retirement. You don't have to clearly know everything, but you have to have a general idea and a GPS to know where you're going. Retirement income has really changed dramatically. Back in the 1970s, a lot more people had pensions. Pensions were the cornerstone of retirement income. It provided guaranteed income. You would layer Social Security on top of it, and people might have a nest egg to supplement their income. Well, in 1970, the government changed a lot of the rules, and a lot of corporations found out that it was very difficult for them to sustain pensions. So that's the development of the 401k and the 403b, and people had to become their own investment managers. Pensions went away, and 401ks and 403bs in the form of nest eggs became more prevalent. So as we think of retirement income, the things that we have to ask ourselves are 2 questions. What do I need my retirement income to do? And what do I want my retirement income to do? Now, the answer to question number 1 is what I need it to, that's our essential expenses. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this as we go along, but that's what we have to have. We have to have lodging. We have to pay taxes. We have to pay for health care. We have communication. We need to eat. All those different things. There are things that are universal across the board versus what I want my retirement to do. That's where it's the fun part of life. That's the thing where it's going there, going on vacations, being able to help loved ones and do things for people. So we have to be able to answer those 2 key questions. Now, a common question that people always ask is, how much income do I need to replace? And there are a lot of pundits and talking heads that'll say, hey, you need 100% or 80% or 70 or 50% of their income. And those rules of thumb can be useful. But really what we have discovered is that in order for you to know what you need in retirement, you really need to know what your expenses are. Now, if you came into our office 5 to 10 years ago, we hardly ever talked about this. Because not that we didn't believe that knowing your expenses or your spending plan was essential, we just know that most people don't like to do it. I just talked to a client the other day, and his whole thing is, it makes me feel restrictive. But as fiduciaries, we understood that you have to have a general idea. Now I joke, I'll say, this isn't the Price is Right. You don't need to have an exact number, but you have to have a range of what you expect to spend. And as you look on the graphics, we can see that we want to divide it up between essential expenses and discretionary expenses. What I need, what I want. And we want to have a ballpark of what those numbers are going to be. Because once we know the spending plan, then we can work backwards to determine, do I have the resources to make sure that I can live comfortably, I can make sure I don't run out of money, and I'm going to be okay. So as we look at this, one of the things that we talk about, that budgeting tends to be a dirty word for a lot of folks, but we want to try to demystify it for folks and make it so that you don't have to get into the weeds. Of course, if you do have a very detailed budget, then that's great. Keep doing that. But for those folks that might not be accustomed to budgeting, what we call it is sort of back of the napkin budgeting. You really want to try to look at is estimate, what are my monthly expenses? What are my one time a year type of expenses? And then try to roll that up into an annual budget. We have to know that. So one of the things that we look at is we really, as we look at retirement, what do we want to do? We want to be able to spend time with our grandkids. We want to travel. We want to join those clubs. We want to be able to do those things. We want to be able to know that when we are looking at spending money, we're going to be able to comfortably be able to do that. And that requires a game plan. We feel in life-centered planning, when you have a plan, you worry less about money, so you can really focus on what's important. And what are those things that are important? Those things that are important are our family and friends, those relationships that we have. It's having those great experiences and memories and a life of meaning and purpose. And usually they're all wrapped up together. So we want to have a game plan so we don't live a just-in-case retirement. We just won't want to have it where we just keep all our money on the side and we're afraid to spend it because we're worried. We have to have a game plan. So this is step one, have a game plan for retirement. Our next step that we're going to go through is how to maximize Social Security benefits and better understanding Social Security benefits. So at this point, we're going to pause and give time to answer any questions that you might have or revolving around developing a game plan.